What if the F-22 Raptor joins U.S. Navy Carrier Strike Group? Should an entire U.S. Navy Carrier Strike Group find itself in a great power war on the open ocean, it seems possible that surface ships might struggle to defend against attacks from enemy fifth-generation stealth fighters. Unless, that is, large numbers of carrier-launched F-35Cs were operational and able to engage in air-to-air combat against approaching enemy aircraft. But how about F-22 stealth fighter jets? During the U.S. Navy's Valiant Shield exercise in the Pacific in September, the service began to explore the idea of having F-22 Raptors defend surface ships such as destroyers, amphibious assault ships, and carriers. The F-22 Raptor is the Air Force's premier fifth-generation fighter aircraft. Its combination of stealth, supercruise, extreme maneuverability, and integrated avionics represents an exponential leap in warfighting capabilities. The Raptor performs both air-to-air and air-to-ground missions that are vital to the 21st century Air Force. The F-22, a critical component of the Global Strike Task Force, is designed to rapidly project air dominance at great distances while defeating threats attempting to deny access to the Air Force, Army, Navy, and Marine Corps. The F-22 cannot be matched by any known or projected fighter aircraft. A combination of sensor capability, integrated avionics, situational awareness, and advanced weaponry provides a first-look, first-kill opportunity against all enemies. The F-22 possesses a sophisticated sensor suite, allowing the pilot to track, identify, shoot, and kill air-to-air threats before being detected. Significant advances in cockpit design and sensor fusion improve the pilot's situational awareness. In the air-to-air configuration, the F-22 Raptor carries 6 AIM-120 AMRAAMs and 2 AIM-9 Sidewinders. The F-22 has an advanced capability of attacking surface targets as well. In the air-to-ground configuration, the aircraft can carry 2 1,000-pound GBU-32 Joint Direct attack munitions internally and will use onboard avionics for navigation and weapons delivery support. Advances in low observable technologies provide improved survivability and lethality against air-to-air and surface-to-air threats. The F-22 brings sophisticated stealth technology to the fight as well, allowing it to protect itself and stay virtually undetected from enemy radar. Perhaps the stealth fighter, believed by many to be the most dominant and advanced air superiority platform in existence, could defend carriers. Why not? Speaking of carriers, retired Lieutenant General David Deptula, Dean of the Mitchell Institute for Aerospace Studies, makes the point that damage to surface ships, such as carriers in open ocean warfare, can bring catastrophic effects. You can't sink land bases, they can be rapidly reconstituted. Carriers present a huge footprint that is potentially more vulnerable. But is that the best use of an F-22, Deptula said? Given that the F-22 program was, in the minds of many, prematurely truncated years ago, there may not be sufficient numbers of available F-22s for a mission of this kind. More importantly, would they have the reach and staying power to preserve vulnerable airspace above surface ships? It seems availability and the number of nearby F-35Cs might also be pertinent factors. For the first time, the Joint Valiant Shield exercise included an Army unit focused on multi-domain operations, and the event tested air-ground-sea networking technologies, merging Navy ships, Poseidon spy planes, and even mine warfare-capable B-52s to conduct integrated operations. Broadly speaking, a Navy report referred to the mission scope as maritime security operations, anti-submarine and air defense exercises, amphibious operations, and other elements of complex warfighting. The Carrier Strike Group, composed of roughly 7,500 personnel, an aircraft carrier, at least one cruiser, a flotilla of 6 to 10 destroyers, and a carrier air wing of 65 to 70 aircraft, a Carrier Strike Group is the largest operational unit of the United States Navy and comprises a principal element of U.S. power projection capability. The Carrier Strike Group is a flexible naval force that can operate in confined waters or in the open ocean, during day and night, in all weather conditions. The principal role of the carrier and her air wing within her Carrier Strike Group is to provide the primary offensive firepower, while the other ships provide defense and support. These roles are not exclusive, however. Other ships in the strike group sometimes undertake offensive operations, and the carrier's air wing contributes to the strike group's defense through combat air patrols and airborne anti-submarine efforts. Thus, from a command and control perspective, carrier strike groups are combat organized by mission rather than by platform. Carrier strike groups are of course known for their many defenses such as air and missile defense interceptors, long-range guns, and close-in defenses such as phalanx guns or anti-torpedo technologies. Could ship self-defense systems, which increasingly include weapons such as lasers and electronic warfare systems, be better served by having F-22s operate overhead? Such a prospect presents interesting options. Should an F-22 be able to reach the right ranges and be sufficient to conduct missions overhead, refueling an F-22 with the Navy's emerging MQ-25 Stingray carrier-launched drone refueler, however, might extend dwell time and mission scope in a significant fashion. Existing ship defenses may be well equipped to defend against anti-ship missiles, enemy boats, and even ballistic missiles. Yet it does not seem apparent that they could be vulnerable to fifth-generation enemy aircraft. Clearly, these threat circumstances are why the Pentagon developed the F-35. Yet they also raise the question as to whether air-to-air dominant fighters like an F-22 might also be well-suited to preserve air security in ocean warfare. Certainly, the advent of Russian and Chinese fifth-generation stealth aircraft changed the threat equation in a substantial way. Regarding the kinds of attacks possibly faced by surface ships, China, for instance, is fast-tracking a carrier-launched variant of its J-31 to rival the F-35B. F-18s are not going to bring much utility in a high-end fight, Deptula said. Air defense networks can also be limiting for stealth aircraft. The first thing you have to think about in the F-22 Raptor or F-35C Lightning II are managing your signature. In an F-18, you don't even think about it because everybody sees you the minute you take off, so you don't spend a lot of time trying to hide. Managing all the components of low observability is very challenging, and pilots have to think about it all the time. And they don't do it well the first time. We all struggle with that initially, but you debrief and analyze and start to build a database of the methods being used to detect you. You start to build a strategy that will keep others from finding you. Where do you want to put other people in the formation so you can maximize information sharing and sensor coverage and sensor footprints? It's really no different from a philosophical viewpoint from what we've always done. We spend a lot of time trying to figure out what our weaknesses are. What do I need to fix as a pilot? In an F-22 and F-35, one of the most enjoyable things is being virtually undetectable until it's way too late for the threat. If you manage the signature really well, and you do it in a way that's integrated with other platforms, most of the time the threat doesn't know you're there. And that's why I have extreme faith that the machine is going to be the most dominant aircraft ever built.